This is my opinion. You may disagree with me, and you are welcome to share your opinion in the comment section. Let's start the video. Why do I think the USA has already lost the war? Whenever a fight or a war begins, the result of victory or defeat usually depends on what the side that started the war actually wants to achieve from it. If we talk about the war involving Iran and Israel, the USA wanted two main things from this conflict. The first was regime change in Iran, and the second was that Iran would surrender. The mistake the USA made was that it treated Iran as if it were similar to Venezuela. The USA believed that just like the president of Venezuela was arrested and regime change happened there, the same thing could happen in Iran. They thought that if they killed Iran's supreme leader and eliminated the entire chain of command, Iran would eventually surrender. But what actually happened surprised everyone. First of all, after Khamenei's death, the whole of Iran became more united. Of course, there may still be many people inside Iran who want regime change, but when Khamenei was killed, many people supported him out of sympathy. It is part of human nature that when someone is killed, people often feel sympathy for that person and unite emotionally. The second thing that happened was that Iran did not surrender. Instead, Iran made the decision to fight back. The moment Iran decided to retaliate, in many ways, that was the moment Iran had already achieved a psychological victory, while the USA had already started to lose the narrative. Now what is happening? For several days, Iran has continued attacking American positions and interests. The damage this causes is not only military but also psychological and political, because America's image as a global superpower becomes weaker with every passing day that the conflict continues. Before the war started, the USA suggested that such a conflict could end within hours. But after the war actually began, only 3 or 4 days later, the narrative started changing, and American officials began saying that this could turn into a long war. This clearly shows that Iran did something the USA did not expect. The USA believed the conflict would end very quickly, but Iran responded in such a way that the war suddenly became much larger and more complicated than anyone had anticipated. Another important point is the regime change that the USA hoped for. In reality, regime change in Iran is not something that can happen easily. The war has started, but we have not seen a massive internal movement inside Iran demanding regime change. This is because Iran is not like Iraq or Afghanistan, and it is also stronger than both of them. That is why regime change there is not something that can happen easily. A famous person once said that you can decide when a war will start, but you cannot decide when it will end. Since the USA has not achieved either of the objectives it wanted from this war, it seems to me that the USA is currently in a declining position. One possible solution that some people talk about is that the USA could land its troops inside Iran. Another idea that has been mentioned is sending Kurdish forces into Iran. However, in my opinion, both of these options are extremely difficult and almost impossible to execute effectively, and even if they were attempted, they might not achieve the desired results. I will explain this point in more detail in another video. Iran is not stronger than the USA, so how is it able to do all of this? And why is the USA not using nuclear weapons against Iran? The answer to these questions will be in the next video. Until then, make sure you subscribe.